अस्सलाम वालेकुम स्टूडेंट्स, वेलकम टू माय चैनल। आज हम EDUA-405 के फाइनल टर्म के MCQs जो हैं वो स्टार्ट करने लगे हैं। लेसन वाइज MCQs हैं जो कि बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हैं। अगर आप इनकी प्रिपरेशन अच्छे से करेंगे तो आप सिर्फ MCQs ही नहीं लेकिन शॉर्ट क्वेश्चन आंसर्स भी अच्छी तरह परफॉर्म कर सकेंगे। तो चलिए स्टार्ट करते हैं। ब्लॉक प्ले सपोर्ट्स डेवलपमेंट इन all domain, in physical, in language, all domain block play supports in development. Okay, block play is especially linked with success in mathematics. Research proved block play improves later performance in algebra. Children who played block at age 3 to 5 perform better in math. 3-year-old block play is mostly solitary or simple. 3-year-olds begin to build enclosures. Zoo and farm pens show development of pretend play. One-to-one correspondence in learned through block play. 4 and 5-year-old play becomes more organized. Constructive play is open ended. Older preschoolers begin to combine structures. Using people and animals with blocks supports imaginary play. Fraction and sequencing are learned through block play. Block play teaches concepts of gravity and balance according to Walter Frew et al. Cones, cubes, and prism relate to geometry. Cause and effect learning is part of science learning. Words like under, over, beside develop spatial vocabulary. Block area should be located in active area. ECERSR recommends a space for at least 3 children. Block area is often placed near dramatic play area. ECERS Dashar recommends a minimum block set of 2 sets. Each block set should have approximately 10 to 20 blocks. Blocks should be stored in low open shelves. Labeling blocks by shape helps in organization. Outdoor block play is encouraged because of more space. Teachers should receive training in hands-on constructive play. Teachers who play understand value of play. Describing children's actions supports language development. Asking open-ended questions promotes conversation. What will happen if is a reasoning question. Block play lessons are important for growth and development. Block play should be part of early years curriculum. Focus on science in early childhood is due to children's strong potential. Early science helps in building future skills. According to research, children learn more than previously thought. Science is a privileged domain because children naturally explore. Preschool years are important for developing attention and interest. Many children today lack home experience with nature exploration. Science experience now mostly happen in classroom. Scientific inquiry helps children to explore objects. Raising questions is part of scientific skills. Making careful observations supports inquiry learning. Recording observations can be done using charts and pictures. Working with others develops collaboration. Activity based science often lack deep thinking. Science tables in classroom often fail because no observation used. Thematic projects often focus more on social studies. For effective science learning, science must be foreground. Manipulatives are concrete materials. Blocks and tiles are example of manipulatives. Manipulatives are more helpful in learning fractions. Ages 3 to 6 show manipulatives are least effective. Effectiveness of manipulatives depends on conditions of use. Research supporting maths instruction comes from cognitive science. Montessori developed materials for math concepts. Place value understanding was supported by Montessori. Montessori Montessori approach benefits come from effective manipulatives. Manipulatives should be used consistently. Teaching should begin with concrete materials. Over time, teaching should move toward abstract thinking. Manipulatives should avoid distracting features. Teachers must explain relation to concept. A manipulative is actually a symbol of concept. Understanding manipulatives requires abstract thinking. Literacy means ability to read and write. Play is defined as voluntary, enjoyable activity. Linking literacy with play makes learning meaningful. Effective literacy instruction should be developmentally appropriate. Rich teacher talk encourages conversation. Using rare words helps in vocabulary growth. Extending children's comments support grammar development. Discussing challenging topics supports deep thinking. Teachers should always listen and respond. Teachers should read aloud once or twice daily. Repeated reading helps in familiarity. Children try to read independently after repeated exposure. Phonological awareness focuses on sounds of language. Words ending with same sounds show rhyme. Same beginning sounds is like alliteration. Choosing words starting with the D is sound matching. ABC books support letter recognition. Magnetic letters are used for alphabet learning. Teaching letter names directly is called direct instruction. Library Center supports emergent reading. Functional print include schedule charts. Manual in the Play Corner support play-related print. Scribble writing is an example of emergent writing. Writing center should include pens and paper. Teacher writing children's dictated text is shared writing. Sign up sheets are example of functional writing. Big books help children understand print concepts. Direction of reading is left to right. Cover, title, and page are book concepts. Integrated activities focus on children's interest. Children record observation using emergent writing. Dramatic play helps children to express learning. Such projects improve language and literacy. Two major types of test items are objective and subjective. MCQs belongs to objective items. Test blueprint show skill content balance. Item format should depend on skills to be measured. Easy format is best for measuring writing skills. There is no inherent good or bad in question formats. True false items are part of selection type. Fill in the blanks are supply type. Short answer items belongs to supply type. Matching exercises are selection type. MCQs can measure knowledge to application. Two parts of an MCQs are STEM and options. The problem statement in MCQs called STEM. Incorrect options are called distractors. Students' task in MCQ is to select best answer. Direct question format is easier to write. Direct questions are better for younger students. Incomplete statements are used when they improve conciseness. Common practice is to start STEM with direct question. Best answer MCQs are used to measure understanding. Best answer type items are usually more difficult. MCQs are considered most versatile. MCQs can measure learning outcomes from simple to complex. Ability to organize ideas is measured by essay items. Knowledge of terminology can be tested by selecting synonym. Knowledge of principle is easy to measure with MCQs. Capillary action explains fluid rising in tube. Knowledge of methods include lab procedures. Knowledge of specific facts is basis for complex learning. Who, what, when, where questions test specific facts. MCQs measuring facts mostly assess memory. MCQs are widely used to measure knowledge and achievement. MCQs can measure complex learning outcomes. Short questions often suffer from ambiguity. A vague question is considered poorly constructed. Multiple correct answers in a question show poor construction. MCQs reduce the chance of guessing. True false items give chance of guessing. In MCQs, the student must know correct answer. MCQs compared to other items have lower guessing chance. MCQs ensure objectivity. MCQs increase range of content sampling. MCQs provide measurement that is precise. MCQs give feedback to both teacher and student. MCQs are easy and rapid to score. One major limitation of MCQs is they take long time to construct. Good MCQs require time to avoid ambiguity. Good MCQs are possible when items are carefully constructed. A good stamp should be meaningful. A stamp should present a definite problem. Poor stamps often look like true false items. A stamp should contain as much items as possible. Clear stamp helps to reduce reading time. A good stamp increases validity of time. Negative statements should be avoided. Negative words like not may cause confusion. Better MCQs are written in question form. Alternatives should be grammatically consistent. Grammar consistency prevents irrelevant clues. Each MCQ should have one correct answer. Multiple correct answers make item poor. Items with many correct options resemble true-false items. Distractors should be plausible. A good distractor is selected by some students. Distractors not chosen should be removed or revised. Word similarity between stem and answer give clue. Good MCQs avoid verbal association. Correct option should not be longer than others. Alternatives should be approximately equal. True false items are also called alternative response. True false items are used for measuring simple outcomes. A river is bigger than a stream. Example of declarative statement. True false items help a student distinguish fact and opinion. Fact opinion format is a type of alternative form. True false items are best for lower learning. Recognizing cause and effect can be measured by true false. Yes no questions belongs to alternative form. Advantage of true false for teachers: save time. One limitation of true false is guessing chance. True false items usually measure memory with only two options. Guessing probability is 50%. True false items often encourage rote learning. One misuse of true false is including trivial content. Earth revolves around the sun measures principle. Most important task in true false item is to avoid ambiguity. Broad general statements should be avoided. Broad generalizations are usually false. Trivial statements should be avoided. Mamnoon Hussain is 12th president is example of trivial statement. Use of negative words in true false items should be avoided. Double negatives create ambiguity. If negative is necessary, it should be underlined. Long complex sentences measure reading skill. Good true false items should be simple. Two ideas in one statement should be avoided. Better practice is to use two simple items. Opinion statements without source are unfair. Opinion must be attributed. True and false statements should be equal length. Length of true false statement is usually longer. False statements should be lengthened to balance length. Misappropriate number of true false items causes bias. Matching type exercises consist of two parallel columns. The first column in matching exercise is called premises. The second column in matching exercise is called responses. Matching exercise is mainly used to measure factual knowledge. Matching items are suitable when content is homogeneous. Matching exercise is economical because it measures large amount of material quickly. Typical matching exercises can measure simple association. Example of matching items include dates and events. Pictorial materials in matching exercises are used to relate pictures and words. Advantage of matching exercises is compact and quick. Limitation of matching exercises is restricted and factual info. Another limitation of matching exercise is high susceptibility to irrelevant clues. Developing good matching items require high degree of skill. Matching exercises are not suitable for rote learning. Students' main task in matching exercise is to relate two logically associated items. A key rule for constructing matching exercises is to use homogeneous material. Homogeneity in a matching exercise is matter of degree. Number of responses and premises should be unequal. When responses may be used more than once, it helps to decrease guessing. Ideal number of items in each column is 4, 7. Shorter responses should be placed on the right. Responses should be arranged in logical or alphabetical order. Logical arrangement of responses helps students scan efficiently. Direction in matching exercises should indicate basis for matching. Items for one matching exercise should be on the same page. Matching exercises are most efficient if all items appear together. Using unequal responses helps to reduce likelihood of guessing. Short answer and completion items are type of supply items. Short answer items are represented as direct questions. Completion items are represented as incomplete statements. Both short answer and completion items can be answered by word, phrase, number, or symbol. Main advantage of short answer completion item is reduce guessing. Short answer or completion questions are useful when teacher wants student to complete many item in short time. Limitation of short answer completion item is difficulty to frame specific question. Short answer or completion items are mostly suitable for measuring simple learning outcomes. More complex interpretation can be measured in mathematics and science. The possibility of guessing correct answer is lower than true false. Short answer completion item should be worded so that the answer is brief and specific. Statements for short answer item should not be taken directly from textbooks. Which form is generally more desirable for short answer item? Direct question. Best way to ask about Pakistan's independence is: in what year did Pakistan gain independence? When answer involves numbers, test item should indicate type of answer. Completion item should avoid too many blank. Tribal information should be avoided. Main purpose of suggestion in short answer completion question is improve clarity and specificity. Which theory in test development focuses on finding the true score of individual? Classical test theory. Item response theory, IRT, is also called latent trait theory. Two most common statistics reported in item analysis are item difficulty and item discrimination. Item analysis provides information about the test items. Appropriate time for the item analysis include both after administration and after scores. Classical test theory mainly focus on test level information, item difficulty, p-value. In CTT is proportion of examinees who answered correctly. A p-value closer to 1 indicates the item is very easy. Optimal difficulty level for 4 alternative multiple choice items is 0.63. Item discrimination measures how well the item distinguishes high and low ability students. Acceptable range for item discrimination index ID is zero point 0.2, 0.20 or higher. Negative item discrimination indicates items should be reviewed or removed. Discrimination index can be calculated by ranking students, selecting top 27% and bottom 27%, then computing difference. Purpose of the structure analysis is to measure how well incorrect options contribute to item quality. What is the basic building blocks for item response theory? Item characteristic curve, ICC. Which property of ICC describes how well an item differentiates between examinees of different abilities? Discrimination. In ICC, item difficulty indicates ability level at which probability of correct response is zero point 0.5. A left-hand curve in ICC represents easy items. A right-hand curve in ICC represents hard items. Steeper ICC curve indicate high discrimination. Flatter ICC curve indicates low discrimination. Probability of guessing in IRT is also known as G parameter. Blind guessing means choosing answer at random. Informed guessing means using knowledge to choose the most likely correct answer. Item characteristics curve show probability of correct response versus ability. Easy items function among low ability examinees. High discrimination ICC is very steep curve. Low discrimination ICC is very small slope. Purpose of ICC in IRT is to predict performance based on ability. Why is assembling a test important to ensure valid and reliable result? Which factor can contribute to invalid test results during administration? Cheating. What should teacher do to support students psychologically during test? Reminds rules and minimize distraction. Recording items in a test should include instructional objectives and difficulty index. Packing the test involves grouping items by similar format. Why should test items be arranged from easy to hard to motivate a student and reduce anxiety? How should illustration or diagrams be positioned in a test near the related question? Randomness of answer key helps to avoid confusion and guessing. Providing a space for test takers' details ensure identification and easier combining of test papers. Proofreading the test before administration helps to save time during test and avoid confusion. Clear test directions are important because they convey expectation and scoring policy. Reproducing the test requires knowing photocopying machine and specifying instruction. Filing the original test is important to reuse items in future and for random checks. Proper spacing of items in a test ensure easy reading and suitable answer space. Keeping items and options on the same page helps to minimize misprint and save time. What is the first step when administering a test? Maintain a positive attitude. How can teacher maximize achievement, motivation, highlight value of giving best? To equalize advantage among student, teacher should discourage guessing and multiple answer. How can surprises during test be avoided? Give advance notice and discuss test structure. What should be clarified to students before test? Time limit, restroom policy, special requirements. What is an effective method for rotating test distribution? Front to back, back to front. Why should students check their copies before starting test? Order and number of pages, print quality. Monitoring students during test includes cheating penalties and seating posture. Minimizing distributions helps by avoiding noise and movement. When should time warnings be given during a test? Half time, two third time, 30th, 15 by 15 minutes. How should tests be collected after administration? In reverse order of distribution. Which of the following ensures fair test condition? Announce time warning using minimum words. Reminding students during test include checking names, date, and page order. Maintaining a positive attitude involves reducing student anxiety and addressing limitation. Test invigilation staff are responsible for protecting test from others and enforcing penalties. What is a standardized achievement test? It is a fixed set of items measuring defined achievement domain. The standardized achievement tests are mostly non-referenced tests. What ensures repeatedly in a standardized test equivalent form of the test? Which of the following is a characteristic of a standardized achievement test? Items developed by specialists, pre-tested and selected. Why are precise directions for administering and scoring important? To ensure standard procedures for different users. Norms in standardized tests are based on national samples of students. How do standardized tests differ from informal classroom tests? Content and learning outcomes measured. Which factor is stronger in standardized tests than informal tests? Reliability. Set batteries should be selected based on relevance to school objectives. Separate content oriented tests are focused on appropriateness for a particular course. Reading tests commonly measure vocabulary, comprehension, and rate of reading. Diagnostic reading tests measure mechanics of reading. Standardized tests help in providing relatively inexpensive means of measuring broad achievement goals. When selecting standardized tests, test selection should consider matching objectives and possible uses of results. Test scores can be interpreted in terms of types of tasks performed or relative position in reference group. A zero score in a test include arbitrary starting point does not mean zero knowledge. Raw score is number of points received on a test. To interpret raw scores meaningfully, we need number of items, type, difficulty, and class position. Raw scores can be converted into criterion reference interpretation and derived scores. Criterion reference interpretation is most useful in mastery testing with clearly defined learning tasks. What must be considered when using criterion reference interpretation? Homogeneous, delimited, clearly specified achievement domains. Norm reference interpretation show how an individual compares with other Derived score in norm reference interpretation provide numerical report with normative meaning. Test norms should be normal, representative, up-to-date, comparable, adequately described. Cautions in interpreting test score include consider test form, student characteristics, type of decision, and band of scores. Criterion reference interpretation must consider items providing directly relevant measure of subject objectives. Standardized tests are usually designed for norm-referenced interpretation. Derived scores are obtained by converting raw scores using table of norms. Raw score of 35 on a difficult arithmetic test meaningless without knowing test difficulty and content. High stake testing is important because it makes decisions with educational, financial, or social impact. Decisions based on high stake testing include promotion to next grade, awarding diploma, evaluating school performance. High stake testing in Pakistan at grade 5 and 8 is conducted by Punjab Examination Commission. High-stake testing at grade 10 and 12 is conducted by Board of Intermediate and Secondary Education. Items in high-stake test are usually developed by professional, psychometrically tested item banks created. Criticism of high-stake testing is same issues as classroom test but with larger impact. Recommendation for effective high-stake testing includes protect against decisions based on single test, align test with curriculum. Effective preparation for high-stake testing includes teach test-taking skills and inform students about test importance. Institutions involved in assessment in Pakistan include Examination Commission, BISEs, Boards of Technical Education. NEAS objectives include inform policy, monitor standards, identify correlation of achievement, direct teachers. NEAS was established with financial assistance from World Bank and DFID. NEAS primarily covers which content areas? Language, mathematics, and science. High-stake test preparation for students include focus on tasks, teach test-taking skills, respond to questions openly. NEAS assessment cycles were conducted in 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008. Protecting in high-stake testing refers to avoid decision based on a single test. Report cards help in tracking child's progress and informing parents. Reports should be written in short sentences, clear and in simple language. Reports should avoid identifying children where numbers are small. Teacher comments for specific subjects should be short, detailed, and explain their child's experience. Improvement comments on report card suggest what the child needs help with. Praise comments aim to highlight what the child is doing well. Comments for behavioral issue explain challenges like tantrums or sharing problems. Socializing comments on report card describe interaction with peers and adults. Group play observation should note collaboration, leadership, and participation in group activities. Leadership comments should indicate child's tendency to lead or collaborate in activities. Referral comments may include suggesting a tutor, psychologist, or therapist if needed. Useful report card comments should be insightful, clear, and helpful for parents and teachers. Teachers should write report cards carefully and thoughtfully for each child. Teacher comments for specific subjects can include observing enjoyment, engagement, and understanding of the topic. Recommendations for parent in report cards suggest ways to improve skills at home. Classroom incentives are used to motivate students. Incentives create students a feeling of pride and achievement. Responsive parenting includes positive affection, warmth, and contingent responsiveness. Cognitive responsiveness by parents involves rich verbal input and maintaining child's interest. Parental scaffolding helps children to develop self regulation and executive function skills. Parent teacher meetings should be frequent and include personal communication. Frequent parent teacher communication help parents understand their child's strength, weakness, and interests. Frequent parent teacher communication helps teacher understand the child's home environment and abilities. Active parental involvement boosts child's moral and engagement in school activities. Collaboration between parents and teachers at home learning helps reinforce concept and encourage practical application. Children feel responsible when they know parents and teachers are monitoring their progress. Strong parent-teacher connection gives the child sense of security and self-confidence. Weekly or bi-weekly reports to parent keep them informed about their child's learning activities. Classroom incentive improve productivity, happiness, and motivation. Parent-teacher collaboration support continuous engagement and practical learning at home. Early childhood assessment is important for eligibility determination, program planning, and progress monitoring. Parents' role in assessment is vital and indispensable from beginning to end. Developmentally appropriate assessment matches children's interest and developmental status. Conventional standardized tests for young children often inappropriate. Developmentally appropriate assessment should take place in child's natural context. Play-based assessment approach observes natural behavior and interest. 8 critical qualities of assessment include useful, acceptable, authentic, collaborative, convergent, equitable, sensitive, and congruent. Assessment utility means it helps plan intervention, monitor progress, and detect problems. Authentic assessment require observing children in natural setting. Collaboration in assessment means parent and professional jointly make decision. Convergent assessment is pools perspectives from family and professionals. Equity in assessment require material and procedure, accommodate individual differences. Sensitivity in assessment ensure detecting even small increments of progress. Congruence in assessment means materials are designed for the children being assessed. NAEYC guideline for young children testing major decisions should never be based on a single test. Problem with standardized testing in young children include anxiety, lack of reliability, and inappropriate content. Preschool assessment tools used in K3 include CLASS, ELCO, and SELA. Classroom based assessment tools help observe child's literacy, language, and classroom behavior. Children under 3 years old should not use computer because they learn best through bodily senses like eyes, hands, and mouth. Developmentally inappropriate computer use often involve drills in basic skills and instructional games. Peppert in 1998 suggests computers impact children when children have free access, concrete experiences, and peer tutoring. Children 3 to 4 years old are developmentally ready to explore computers and experiment independently. Teacher intervention at the computer should be minimal just to help when children are frustrated. Kindergarten and primary children using computers should have access to developmentally appropriate software and make choices. Small group computer activities help children build memory, problem solving, and cooperation skill. Benefit of computer use for 3 and 4-year-old include gain in intelligence, problem solving, verbal and non-verbal skills. Benefits for kindergarten and primary children include improved motor skill, creativity, critical thinking, and self-concept. Effective computer integration begins with teachers, administrators, and parents sharing research and forming study groups. Recommended computer to child ratio in classroom: one computer per 5 to 7 children. Teacher training for technology integration includes workshop, practical experience, mentor in technology integration provides support, information, and classroom suggestion. Teachers should choose software that is developmentally appropriate for their classroom. Purpose of technology in early childhood classroom is to enhance learning and integrate curriculum objectives. इसके साथ ही हमारा EDUA-405 की फाइनल टर्म प्रिपरेशन के हवाले से MCQs कवर हो जाते हैं। तमाम डिटेल्ड MCQs हैं जो कि आपके शॉर्ट क्वेश्चन आंसर्स में भी हेल्प आउट कर सकते हैं। वीडियो अच्छी लगी हो तो लाइक ज़रूर कीजिएगा, इसे अपने फेलो स्टूडेंट के साथ ज़रूर शेयर कीजिएगा और चैनल सब्सक्राइब करना हरगिज़ ना भूलिएगा। कोई फीडबैक देना चाहें तो आप कमेंट सेक्शन में अपना फीडबैक भी मुझसे शेयर कर सकते हैं। मैं इंशाल्लाह ताला अपने नेक्स्ट लेक्चर के साथ जल्द हाजिर होंगी। तब तक आप सब अपना बहुत ख्याल रखिएगा। अल्लाह हाफ़िज़।